Good evening, Wrestling Rumors fans. This is Drew Goldfinger. It is Sunday, February 21st. Welcome you to another edition of Warm Up for Fastlane Edition this evening. We got a couple guys here. We're going to run down our predictions and talk about a couple other things. First off, Matt McCool. Matt, how you doing today?
Great, how are you? Really excited for Fastlane. Should be a fun night, and we have a lot of really interesting news to cover as we start.
Okay, and joining us also is Mr. Adam Daley. Adam, how's it going?
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Looking forward to the show tonight, and then all the gossip we got to talk about, I guess.
The gossip we have to talk about. Okay. Before we get into our predictions, and one of our writers, Derek, posted, who's normally on here with us, who can't be on here this evening, posted our predictions for tonight's pay-per-view. For the most part, we pretty much are all on the same page for a majority of the main matches, at least. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about some rumors and some news that kind of happened this week before we jump into the predictions for the evening. I think the biggest one for this weekend, kind of obviously a John Cena slash CM Punk kind of thing. First, yesterday we had John Cena posted some pictures on his Instagram about first it was The Undertaker, or first it was the same picture that CM Punk has as his Twitter handle avatar, and then he posted a picture of The Undertaker on his Instagram. And then today we find out that CM Punk and AJ Lee both had their accounts and profiles reactivated on WWE.com. So obviously the internet wrestling community has kind of been up in arms and seeing, what's going on. Rumors, obviously, things are up in the air with Cena. Things are up in the air with Undertaker's WrestleMania opponent. So just want to see what you guys are thinking about all this. Matt, let's start with you. What do you think about all this this Cena, CM Punk hoopla we have going on the last couple of days?
I mean, with any rumor when it comes to wrestling, because we're all such big fans and of the age of the internet, we're all going to get really excited about it. I don't want to get my hopes up because I'm a big Punk guy. I think that all of us on the show are very big CM Punk fans, and even if you're not a big CM Punk fan, like Derek said when we were talking a little bit earlier, he would mark out too. I mean, it's such a big return if it would ever to happen. And there's so much money that's left on the table. I mean, CM Punk versus Stone Cold would be an absolute blockbuster match if they could ever convince Stone Cold to do that, and CM Punk, obviously. I mean, I don't think it's anything that big. I think that Adam said to me earlier today, and I think that I agree, that it's probably just that their legal stuff was resolved. But there is a huge conspiracy about, the locations of the cities and everything that's going on with CM Punk. He has had back surgery and hasn't debuted in UFC yet. He signed an 8-fight deal, and he's 37 years old. It's all really weird. I don't expect him to come back right now. I do eventually, for sure, but I think this is just kind of somebody messing up or the legal stuff kind of just ending. But look, I hope he comes back. It'd be great.
What do you think about Cena, Undertaker, and that side of it?
I will be very, very disappointed if it's Cena versus Undertaker. All the reports that came out saying that it's somebody that's not on the active roster, it's not John Cena, it's not Kevin Owens, it's not Braun Strowman, leads me to want Kurt Angle. I've wanted Kurt Angle back in the company for a long time. He's free right now. He has a match against Rey Mysterio at some independent show in March. But I think this is a very unique opportunity. I was also reading today that Undertaker actually approached Kurt Angle back in the day to break his streak, and WWE said no. So there's been kind of a mutual interest from both guys to have this match. I would love to see it. If it's Goldberg, I would still be excited. If it's Sting, I'd obviously be excited, but Sting has had neck problems, so it might not be him. I'm just hoping it's Angle, and look, with seeing Undertaker be a really big moment, yeah. But when there's reports that come out that say he's not on the active roster, I just want Kurt Angle. I'll be disappointed if it's not. And I'm going to be at WrestleMania, so I really hope it is.
All right, good. Those are a lot of really good points, Adam. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, really, a lot of what Matt said is exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it's no secret that I'm a huge Punk fan, obviously, but I do see him coming back eventually. Not right now, guys. I mean, he just had back surgery. I just read an interview that Mickey Gall said that the fight is still supposed to be on for UFC 200. Who knows what's really going on. I think that timing with this is interesting because it's the Sunday of a pay-per-view, so they just redesigned the website too. And what if they wanted to get extra website traffic over on a pay-per-view day? Because as soon as they put Punk and AJ up, boom, everybody's going to swarm to the website just to, as we do, conspiracy theory mode of why is this going on? agreed. Maybe some legal stuff got cleared up too. There is a lot of strange things though. I mean, when it comes to Punk not fighting yet in UFC, I mean, we're still for what 14 months, 18 months down the line, something like that, of him signing, and he's still yet to fight. So, I don't know. It seems the 8-fight contract also seems a little bit bizarre to me, but. Listen, business is business, and we'll never understand like the back end, I guess, of that business, too. But I think that this is all this was all hype to get people maybe over to the website. But it did give us something to talk about. I do think it's interesting that Cena, put something on Instagram, about Punk, obviously like referencing Punk in a way. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just to get us talking about it, or maybe let us know that WWE is going to start recognizing him again, and they're not going to give him the Benoit treatment, so to speak. Maybe this isn't necessarily. It's just opening the door for Punk to kind of like be seen on the network again, and they can actually talk about him maybe in that capacity.
Yeah, so you're saying like when they have promos for The Undertaker again at WrestleMania, he just won't be like not there. He won't be not pictured again.
Right, exactly. So they can actually mention, even in a promo when they said, "Oh yeah, well, when they run down Heyman guys, they can actually include CM Punk again and not just pretend like he was never ever there." No, but I think it's one of those where if they at least acknowledge that he was there. Obviously, I mean, I know he's a very polarizing figure. A lot of people hate him, a lot of people love him. There's no kind of in between with CM Punk. But I love those guys. I respect those guys. So I would like to see them at least kind of show him the respect that's deserved. But again, there's a lot of lawsuits and stuff like that. We don't understand what really goes on backstage. So I don't know. I think maybe it was just more teasing to get people to the, and maybe they're just going to open it up a little bit more. But yeah, so that way we don't just see like an empty blur, like they blur his face out and stuff anytime they show videos.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page. We talked, Matt, Derek, myself. We talked in our group chat earlier. It was kind of a weird timing, and I think having Cena post the Instagram photo was kind of makes you want to think too. But I think obviously he's going to do his best because he signed the deal with UFC to just kind of at some point. I think that maybe that is his goal. I mean, I definitely agree with you guys that at some point he'll be wrestling in the WWE again for sure. Whether it's, I don't think it's right now either, but at some point they'll mend the bridges and they'll get back together. It was just interesting, the timing, but I think you might be right, Adam. I think the fact that they want to drive new viewers to the new design of the website would probably make more sense. Something else that I wanted to bring up real quick before we move on, because I don't necessarily know if we're going to be able to have a warm-up tomorrow, is this Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award that they promoted last week to give out tomorrow night. I'm of a firm belief that I don't know if this is something legit. I mean, maybe because they gave, obviously, the Vincent J. McMahon Award, that, a lot of people are saying they wouldn't, if it wasn't legit, they wouldn't put his name on it. But for some reason, I just have a feeling it's going to be a storyline kind of thing. Just wanted to see your guys' thoughts and, any predictions we have for who might be getting it. Adam, let's start with you.
I don't know. I mean, I think that you would think the first recipient would be Vincent K. McMahon. You would think that's who it would be. So I think that if it was anybody else, there would be some sort of storyline attachment to it. Yes, they put his name on it, so would it be something legitimate? But I mean, they put Andre the Giant's name on a Battle Royal at WrestleMania, and that still isn't legitimate. So sure. Naming doesn't really matter, I guess. I don't think in WWE. I don't see it being. I actually, as soon as they promoted it last week, the first thing I thought is, well, if it goes to Triple H, does this create friction between Vince and Triple H? That was the very first thing I thought, because, and now, reports maybe that it could be the Undertaker receiving it, whatever. But I just can't, without it being Vince McMahon, unless it be, if it being a legit. I think it's all storyline. It's all work.
Yeah, no, I agree. Matt, what do you think?
I'm not really sure. Our hype man for the Wrestling Rumors podcast, Big Larry, we're talking about this earlier this week, and I think it was him, and he said that it could be a swerve for maybe having Ambrose or Reigns get the award, and having those guys turn heel and aligning with the Authority. That could be a possibility. I don't think that'll happen. I think it's easier just to make it kind of like an actual award. the first name that jumps out in my mind would be Dusty Rhodes after his passing last year. They did a really nice thing in NXT, but we could see that going into the Hall of Fame season. Maybe The Undertaker, and obviously I agree with you, Adam. Triple H would be a very good name for that because it would kind of give him more heat going into WrestleMania season and kind of have a bunch of stuff with that on Raw tomorrow night. Really fast, though, about the CM Punk thing, I have one more thought. I just think that it's more significant that Cena Instagrammed that picture rather than WWE putting it on their alumni page because they change people on there all the time. And like Adam said, they could just be trying to get website viewers. They could have just always had this right to do this for a few months and they haven't done it yet. And they thought, oh, we're getting a new website. We might as well update it, to its highest ability. I think the fact that Cena tweeted that picture, he wasn't just watching Slapshot. I think that for him to do that is really weird. Especially since Cena tweeted pictures about AJ Styles or Instagram pictures about AJ Styles right before his debut, and then he did that for The Undertaker and for CM Punk, so we'll see about it. And in terms of the award, I'm not really sure yet. I'm kind of on Drew's side, anything like this, even the Daniel Bryan thing, I'm kind of skeptical because it is WWE and they've done things like this before that you think would never be kayfabe, and they just are.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up the Daniel Bryan thing. I mean, we talked all day, all three of us. I was like, they're making he's dead. And we a lot, we didn't know. I didn't know until that second when he came out and those words came out of his mouth. So until I hear that something's legitimate, I'm always going to assume it's not until I actually see it or hear it with my own ears. So if it is legit, I think, Matt, like you said, Dusty Rhodes would be a perfect recipient. I heard a lot of people saying Pat Patterson, obviously The Undertaker too. But I really think it's storyline, so I'm a firm believer that it'll be a Triple H kind of thing. And, the winner of tonight's match then interrupts that, and we go forward. So we'll just have to wait and see till tomorrow night. So I think that gives us a good segue into tonight. Don't really want to go into the match, but I just kind of want to say this, but we've been talking about it for the last few weeks. The U.S. title is just garbage now. What happened? What happened? What happened?
Del Rio happened. That's what happened.
They're on the pre-show. In a match that nobody cares about.
They put a 2 or 3 falls match on the pre-show too. Think about that. I mean, that's usually when there's a stip like that. That's usually a bigger match. I mean, 2 or 3 falls I think is more of a fan favorite sometimes, or at least a traditionalist favorite, and it's still getting bumped to the pre-show.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Maybe there's kind of an unannounced segment tonight involving The Undertaker or somebody, and that's why that went to the pre-show. We'll see, but I mean, I've been saying this for weeks. I am not a Del Rio fan, and the way he won that title and the way they booked that title since he won it, he didn't defend it ever, and then it was basically passed around. I said this on the Wrestling Rumors podcast last week. It's basically being traded like Pokemon cards the last 2 months with Kalisto and Del Rio. I mean, it's a joke. This title went from being the number 2 match and storyline in pay-per-views for 6 straight months with John Cena being on a pre-show. It's really sad. I mean, I'm happy the IC title is I think the IC title should be over the US title. It should kind of be neck and neck, but the IC title should still be the secondary title of WWE. But it's just disappointing that they had a title that they elevated for 6 months and it basically went down the drain once Cena lost it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I'm loading up our predictions real quick. So, but I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this match. I think we all might have chosen one, different ways, but I think we were all in agreement that I'm not going to watch. I might watch the pre-show, but I don't care.
The shame of it too is the man shouldn't make the title. The title should make the man. That's a firm believer of that. And John Cena made that title, and then let's face it, Daniel Bryan would have probably made the IC championship what the US title was, but as soon as Cena I don't even think it had anything to do with Del Rio. It's just as soon as I think Del Rio was doing a decent job, I just don't think they had anything for him. I really do think that as much as we hate Cena, that just shows the power of John Cena, guys. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, of course, I agree with you. I agree. It just the booking has been bad, and I think they also had a plan of doing Swagger versus Del Rio, and then Rollins gets hurt, and it kind of messed up their whole Survivor Series. They had to kind of change it around a little bit. I just think they could have done a much better job, especially with Del Rio being the U.S. champion in the League of Nations that so-called hates America. There's never any mention of it. It's become more of a purse than an actual title that means something. And I agree with you that it should be the title that makes the man, but Del Rio coming back and just winning the title from Cena after not being in the company for a long time. And the way he won with the kick to the head, I mean, come on. There's guys like Dolph Ziggler who've been, busting their butt every single week and put on a great match with John Cena. We all thought it was going to be Dolph Ziggler who was going to take that title, and that would have been fine. Or maybe give it to a young guy like Tyler Breeze to establish him. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that, just giving the new guys secondary titles, but I think there could have been a much better plan for this title. They just didn't know what to do, and they just panicked with Del Rio, and they've been panicking ever since. So.
And I said that backwards too, guys. Sorry, it's the man should make the title. The title shouldn't make the man. Yeah, I said that backwards. So sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I do agree with that. I mean, the title should. You said the title should make the man.
No. The man should make the title. The title shouldn't make the man.
Yeah.
The man should, and I think that's the problem. Is right now I don't know who they could put the United States Championship on that would make it as relevant as John Cena. And obviously, there's a lot of guys they could, like maybe a Dolph Ziggler, maybe something like that. But when we're talking Del Rio, Kalisto, and if we're going to keep talking about that tier of names, I don't know if we're going to be excited about the United States Championship until they put it on another. They elevate it again. I
don't think there's anybody that would make the title as much as John Cena, and I'm not a huge John Cena guy. I mean, AJ Styles would do a lot for it, but no one likes Cena.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe unfortunately, it's tough to say, but maybe we said it at the time, and it was great, and it just the direction is terrible where they go with it. I mean, they're going to need to put on somebody else for us to care about it. Definitely for me to care about it again. For the record, I picked Kalisto, and the both of you picked Del Rio. I just my real answer was I don't really care, but I wanted to give an answer, so I put Kalisto on there. Let's see. I mean, I'm just going to run through the matches I think we all pretty much agree on, and then we can kind of talk about the ones that we want to go in depth about. I think we all agree that Becky Lynch and Sasha will be beating Naomi and Tamina. I mean, I think there's really no, other option there. I think obviously we feel that Sasha should be moving on to face Charlotte for the Divas title in the near future. So where they go with that after this, it'll be interesting to see. But do either one of you have anything to say about this match at all? No?
It's just ending the whole Team Bad storyline. That's it. They're obviously when they're not. We're not going into the WrestleMania season with our number one contender, potentially two of our number one contenders losing to Team Bad, who have been jobbers the last year in the Divas division. So. Yeah,
I mean, I will say it is nice to have two Divas matches on a pay-per-view card, and it was definitely nice to see 3 Divas segments last week on Raw. Definitely good. I mean, I'll never shy away from it. I love Paige, so anytime she's on the TV, it's good for me. But yeah, I mean, it seems to be they're moving in a good direction when they put 2 Divas matches on the main card and the 2 out of 3 falls on the pre-show. So at least it seems like they're starting to move in a good direction. So let's see what else we have here. Okay, I really do not want to talk at all about this. So the Wyatt family against the 3 Titans. So can we just agree that the Wyatt family is just going to beat the crap out of them and move on? Yes? Anybody have anything to say?
Who cares about this match? Can't stand Ryback.
No, maybe Ryback could just burp in the mic again. I will say, and this will lead up to our conversation about the triple threat. I said it a month ago when I was at the Royal Rumble, and I was on the podcast with you, Matt. I think they're obviously going to just destroy them tonight, and then just interfere in the main event and just beat the crap out of Lesnar, and that's where we go. Maybe not beat the crap out of him, but you know what I mean.
Definitely.
I think that's the only thing that makes sense. So I don't really care about that match. I don't want to talk anything about that match more than we can. And then the last one I think that we're all in agreement about is Charlotte versus Brie Bella. I think we're also in agreement about Owens, but I wanted to talk about Owens a little bit. Charlotte versus Brie Bella. A lot of people saying this may be Brie Bella's last match. They could see her retiring soon. So, we all picked Charlotte. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
You know what? I will say this. Out of the 3 matches you just named, and I want to get both of your opinions. If there was a match, since we're all in agreement, so that it's that predictable, if there's one match that could flip the other way, what match do you think it is?
That is a good question. I can't see the Wyatts losing. If they wanted to do the Daniel Bryan sympathy thing, I guess they could put the title on Brie Bella. If I had to choose between those three, that would be the route I would go. The other two options are just so atrocious. If they're going to push Sasha, why would you have them lose to Tamina? And you cannot have the Wyatts lose to Ryback, Big Show, and Kane. So if I had to pick one of the three, I guess I'd go with Brie Bella there.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to do like a fatal five-way Divas match going into WrestleMania. Like, every single option is horrible. Yeah.
I agree. Those are terrible choices. I don't think anyone are going to flip. But
I think that we could see a Sasha and Becky loss because we could see Becky getting pinned by Team Bad if Sasha turns on her, or more likely she just loses, and then Becky does more of a storyline with Team Bad and Natalya and Paige going into WrestleMania. I just don't see Charlotte losing at all. Like, there's no money in Brie Bella's Daniel Bryan. They've tried that. They've flipped her back and forth so much. She's almost turned more than the Big Show has in his career. It's starting to get a little bit ridiculous, but
yeah. But there are no heels and faces with the heels. Okay, remember Vince said that there are no heels and faces. So
with the Divas.
Yeah, with the Divas, there's no heels and faces with the Divas. So I don't know. That's a terrible question, Adam, because I don't want to see either of the opposite happen. Because, like, obviously we talked about this last month, and I wrote my article about it, my retrospective about the Royal Rumble. Like, it seems like this is even more predictable, but we can still get some really good matches. It just seems for the most part that the card is pretty much, you can map it out pretty well. Okay, so let's just go through a couple of other things. We all did pick Owens, I believe, because I think the logical sense was if you were going to put the title on Dolph Ziggler, you would have done it in the Fatal 5-Way on Monday. So you wouldn't give Owens the title and then 5 days later have him lose it. That just doesn't do anything. But the one thing I really wanted to talk about, because we're still a month out from WrestleMania, but outside of a couple matches that we could kind of rumor or predict, like, everything's really still wide open, and we've talked about this before. Like, where do we think Owens goes from here? Obviously with the IC title, that's really what I wanted to talk about, because I think, we all were in agreement that Owens is going to defeat Ziggler tonight. Just wanted to get your guys' thoughts about what we see Owens do the next couple of weeks.
Okay, if he retains, I think we see some sort of multi-competitor match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Only because the IC title typically isn't defended at WrestleMania. For the longest time, it was only through the first, I think, like 25 or 30 WrestleManias, it was only defended, I think, like 7 times. So they really just started 7 or 8 times, something like that. So they've really just started putting it on more. But I think it needs to be almost like a carbon copy of last year, where it's a ladder match, maybe some kind of 6-man, 7-man, or the 6-man ladder match, where you can put in Owens, you can still put in Ziggler, you can put in even Jericho and Styles, whoever else you want to put in there. So I don't know. I think it really. I don't know. At least people just aren't stealing the title and running around with it like last year. But I don't know. I think that's the best plan of action right now.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm not really sure. I think the multi-man match is a good idea. At the same time, they did that last year, so I could totally see them doing that for the U.S. title instead. I think AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens would be a great match, and I said this on the podcast last week. Like, a little bit of the selfish part of me kind of doesn't want them to face each other, because I might want to dress up as AJ Styles, and I can't do that if Kevin Owens is facing AJ Styles, because Kevin Owens is like one of my favorites. I love Styles, trust me, but I just can't decide on that one. So I might be copying Adam and being Edge with him if that happens. But it would be a great match. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of guys in that mid-card shuffle, so who knows where they go. I think a Jericho, Ambrose, probably not Ambrose now at this point, but a Jericho, Styles, Owens match is probably what we get.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily disagree at that point. I think, obviously there was a lot of rumors about Owens versus Undertaker, but I think at this point, I think all the rumors with Undertaker, they're, going in another direction. So we'll see, and I agree, Owens is some sort of multi-person match for the IC title. I think that's a good segue to go into the AJ Styles versus Jericho match. We all did pick AJ Styles. Just want to talk about what you guys, think, or if you have any comments about that match. But we all pretty much agree that Styles goes over. It's the only logical thing that really makes sense, because Jericho is obviously Jericho. Wins and losses really shouldn't matter. So, Adam, you want to talk about your boy Jericho or no?
Yeah, no, it's. I like that he put out on Twitter finally, like, whenever he beats Styles on SmackDown, basically, if I lose to him, I'm laying down and I'm a jobber, or whatever he said. He said, but if I pin him, I bury him. He was like, just give me a break, which is completely like, I think Jericho's at the point in his career where we don't need wins and losses, or nothing matters. Jericho's legacy is already where it needs to be. This is absolutely, I think, to get AJ Styles over, and at least with the fans. Look, Jericho came back to put Fandango over at WrestleMania, and granted that flopped, but that's how much of a company man he is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad thing, guys. People keep saying, well, it's his job, and that's not a bad thing. He's elevating talent. That's what he's helping AJ Styles out. I think that'll help with a lot of casual fans that don't really know AJ as much, or maybe don't watch it, as frequently. So I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I think that this is another one that people are underestimating both guys in, but yeah, I don't know. I think this could be match of the night.
Yeah, I agree on the match of the night thing. Matt, what do you think?
100%, definitely could be match of the night if they give those guys time. They've worked with each other a lot the last few weeks, so I think that their chemistry is starting to get a little bit better each match they wrestle. So I think it will be a great match. There's no other likely scenario, like you guys have said, for Styles not to win. He's definitely going to win, just so they can get him over, like you said, Adam, for people that don't really know who he is and don't really know how significant and how much of a good wrestler he is, because they don't watch or they don't know who he is. They don't follow wrestling on the internet or whatever. But I don't see any other scenario other than AJ Styles winning, and maybe a full Jericho heel turn happens tonight. After Styles wins, he hits him with the chair, low blows him, something like that, beats him up, takes his frustration out. Definitely within the next 2 nights, for sure, we see a full Jericho heel turn.
I definitely agree with that, because I started to make that. I think I made that comment on Monday night with what they were doing with Jericho at commentary. I was like, it seems like a heel turn is coming, so I can totally see that. And then we see where they go from there. Like I've said on here before, I've never was a TNA guy, but I've liked so far what they've done with Jericho and AJ Styles, and totally agree just to get Styles over and then move on, and we go from there. Main event, talk about the main event. The three of us do have Reigns going over, but the one thing I want to talk about, because there's been a lot of talk about it on the internet this week since Ambrose dropped the title. I want you guys to give me a percentage as to the percentage that you believe Dean Ambrose actually has to walk out the winner of that match tonight. If you guys had to put a percentage on it. I'll start. My percentage is 0. I think the fact that they had him drop the IC title, I think that was just to get people thinking that, maybe he's going to win now because he dropped the IC title. Reigns versus Triple H has been written on the wall for months. I just can't see them going another route. I know Ambrose has a lot of support and momentum behind him right now. I just don't see it. I just don't. I just see Reigns going over. We see Reigns versus Triple H, and Reigns getting over and having his WrestleMania moment. I can't see it any other way. That's why I picked Triple H to enter at 30 to win the Royal Rumble. That's where they're going, in my opinion. So, sorry I love Dean Ambrose, don't get me wrong, but I think he has 0 shot. What do you guys think? Whoever wants to start.
I'll say 45%. I think that it's very significant to me that the company put him. They made a decision at the Royal Rumble to make Dean Ambrose the final person to be eliminated. He dropped the IC title. His momentum's been coming up, and in this rivalry, and this may be by design, it feels like it's more of Ambrose versus Lesnar rather than Lesnar versus Reigns, or all three of them. I mean, you kind of had different separate stories, and maybe that's because they wanted to elevate Ambrose to a certain level, but I just don't see how he could do this, lose, and then go back down to the IC title, because I watched Fastlane today from last year, and he was fighting for the IC title at Fastlane. So basically you're telling me within a year he's at the same level as he was last year. And for a young guy, I don't really see that. I more see that definitely Lesnar Wyatt's definitely interfered, take Lesnar out of the match completely. He's out cold. So it's Reigns versus Ambrose. I see Roman Reigns winning, but I see Roman Reigns turning into a tweener. Not a heel, not a face. Turning a little bit heel, but just saying, look, Dean, like, I love you as a brother, but this crap is over. I want to win the WWE title. This is for my family. I want to see more of a ferocious Roman Reigns going for the title and not caring about Dean Ambrose, just caring that he is the object in front of him rather than his brother. And then I see Dean Ambrose being added to the championship match at WrestleMania. He's not going to win still, but I think he'll be added to that match based off his momentum the last few weeks. I think it'd be a very good match. Reigns still wins, but I think the way they booked Dean Ambrose recently, I don't see how they could put him in a lower feud, like a lower, like mid-card feud now that he's been put in this position. He's gotten over so much. Not to mention that WrestleMania is WWE's biggest hardcore fan audience turnout of any event of the year, and Reigns will get booed regardless. Like, I don't agree with it at all. A lot of fans are just kind of stubborn. Wah, I don't get what I want, so I'm gonna boot. Like, but still, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, back real quick on the Reigns thing. Like, I was, been shocked at how they've been booing him. I want to add an asterisk to my previous 0% because I said this earlier in the chat. I give Ambrose 0% unless we see a heel turn. Because if they're really still pushing Reigns as the face, if that's really where they're going, I just don't see what the result could be because people are going to be happy that he lost. So I just don't see it unless Reigns turns heel. Adam, go ahead. What do you think?
I'm going to use Scott Steiner math here, Scott Steiner arithmetic. If you take the 16 suplexes that Brock Lesnar gave John Cena, divide that by the 3 competitors in this match, you get, I don't know, I'm not good at quick math right now, so we're just going to say you get about 44.3%. Multiply that by the 87%, and then divide it by Scott Steiner. 0%, guys. Dean Ambrose isn't winning this. Guys, nobody, just stop. Ambrose probably is going to end up working with Jericho, even though I said I think there's going to be a competitor thing for Mania. If they have plans for AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, if that's going to be a match for the Intercontinental Championship, a one-on-one match, then I can absolutely still see Ambrose and Jericho, that being on the table. So they have a fallback plan. Maybe this is all just a ruse because we all thought that Jericho and Ambrose was going to be so dead set. We thought that Roman Reigns was such. This was just to shake the predictability up a little bit, I feel. Roman Reigns is winning tonight, 100%, 0% for Dean Ambrose, and 47.3% for Scott Steiner.
So if Scott Steiner wins the match, then I'll make sure you're the first one to get credit for that. Oh boy, yeah, I just don't see any other way. I mean, I just think that's where they end up. It'll just be interesting to see what happens with these guys that people are rumoring to return from injury, like when Rollins is going to come back. I still think Rollins has several months ahead of him. I've heard a lot of things about Rollins coming back like the night after Mania. I just think that Reigns will win the title. He'll beat Triple H. The authority will kind of like go away, hopefully, for a little bit at least. Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I look at it this way too. Everyone's biggest concern is, well, what's going to happen at WrestleMania? Is the crowd going to favor Triple H? Is he going to get the face pop over Roman? Would Roman still get booed?
Right.
At this stage of the game, I feel like if that's the case, WWE has a plan that they'd be able to work around. I feel like they almost might have 2 game plans set up for Roman Reigns, and if they needed to get him over, as a babyface for that crowd pop at the end of Mania, they'll figure out a way to do it. For all we know, Triple H, we might all be saying Triple H might beat Reigns, at this and prolong this out a little bit more. I don't know. I just feel like the big storyline all year was Roman Reigns, Triple H. It was really the longest storyline we've had since Rollins has been out, and this is what they wanted to, or this isn't the match they wanted, but right now this is the one match that makes the most sense. So I don't know. I don't know why people are so resistant. I'm with you, Matt. Like, I'm not necessarily a Roman Reigns fan, but this is absolutely what I don't. This is what they want, and it should be what it is. The storyline wrote itself.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I just really can't stand the mindset of fans that just will never, like, be satisfied with the product. Like, for example, I was in Philadelphia when Reigns won the championship, and a year before that, Philadelphia booed Roman Reigns out of the building. I was happy for the guy, and we cheered him. And I got a bunch of crap because Philly changed crowds, and there was people tweeting us, oh, this is so bad, what are they doing? Sheamus is just champion. I mean, guys, if you don't appreciate the way they booked Reigns those 2 days, and you don't think that Raw was a good show, then you shouldn't watch the product. Like, I just get tired of people, oh, Ambrose is better. Well, why is Ambrose better? Well, I don't know. I never watched the Indies. Like, oh, he's better on the mic. If you book Reigns in the right way, and he doesn't talk that much, and you keep booking him like you did in December, and have him be this mercenary that doesn't really care about anybody, just wants to win, maybe it's sort of like Edge, not as ferocious, I think that he'll be fine. But they're different performers, just like Brock Lesnar is different than, Seth Rollins. They're different. Dean Ambrose is different than Roman Reigns. I'm not the biggest Dean Ambrose fan. I didn't say that Dean should win because I want him to, or because I think it's going to happen. It's just based off what's been going on. I think that they might be thinking about shuffling up this Mania card a little bit, not changing their plan, because, basically if you think about it, the last 3 years, if they change their plan again, the crowd's made them change their plan like 3 years in a row. It's pretty crazy. Like, I just don't like, the fans should go and they should be an active crowd. I can't stand when we go to these events or watch them on TV if they're from Laredo, Texas, and it's a horrible crowd. I can't stand that. But don't be Brooklyn and don't, boo the Diva segment and say we want Sasha just because she's not in the segment. I love Sasha as much as they do, but it really just irks me, the whole thing.
Or just chant we want Sasha, then Sasha comes out and then nothing. There's no reaction at all. So, I agree with you. I mean, being on the Twitter and interacting with people on the Twitter, like, I'm a very realistic person. I always have been in every aspect of what I do, my passions or my work or anything like that. I'm a very realistic person, but some people just are, want what they want and they don't really care. And perfect example was, I made a tweet a couple weeks ago about the CM Punk chants. Obviously, it's relevant now, but, like, why are we still chanting his name? Like, let's just appreciate what we have in front of us. If you want to boo, boo. It's your right to boo. But, I mean, you can still appreciate the quality of what's going on, while still giving your opinion.
And what's funny, Drew, is you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said last week on Raw last week we had 3 Divas segments. We had 3 Divas matches in one Raw, and then yet everybody wants to complain that the Divas Revolution isn't really happening. It's not working. There was 3 Divas matches in one Raw. I can't remember the last time we've had. I mean, so yes, it's right in front of us that progress is happening, change is happening. It's just that people, I don't think they don't see the big picture. They just see what they want to see. That's all it is.
I mean, I would have liked one of those Diva segments to end the show instead of the abomination of that. Oh, God. Oh, sorry, Adam.
Sorry,
well,
that was all. I freaked out a little bit, but that was just horrible.
They should have, to be honest, they obviously should have ended the show with that Heyman Reigns promo. Like, that should have ended the show. Like, I understand, like, if the Wyatts are ending the show, they're going to beat, the Titans of the WWE, and then they're going to destroy Lesnar. I get that progression, but to have Kane and Ryback and Big Show be in the main event on your go-home show, oh, boy, that was bad. But, yeah, I mean, but now we're doing the same thing. We're not appreciating the product, and we're trying to get what we want. So we're also kind of the hypocrites a little bit.
I didn't mean to have the crazy reaction and interrupt you guys, but that was just god awful. Like, especially because Big Show was on the Stone Cold podcast, and this is a go home Raw, going into supposedly what you want to make a bigger pay-per-view, and you try and get some cheap match that no one cares about at the end of the show. Like, look, I'm going to give WWE their credit when it's due. I'm normally a positive guy, but I didn't like that at all. I thought the Big Show's interview was great on the network. I don't know if you guys checked it out. It was awesome.
I got to go back and check it out.
The decision to do that was pretty bad, and that's why I did the whole
Now, did he go straight from it was a live podcast, right?
Yeah.
So he had to go straight from the last segment, run straight to the poor Big Show, man. They put so much on that dude. They make him cry every week. Now they're making him run from one thing to the other, not even with a break. Poor dude.
It was really funny. He actually was drinking Stone Cold's IPA on the podcast, and they looked back, they're like, can we do this? And then Big Show would like drink the beer and like put a towel in front of it to like protect kayfabe. It was hilarious. It was a great interview. I think they should have Reigns on there at some point. I think that would be a very good interview. Talk about a lot of the fan backlash and stuff. Maybe get to know him a little bit. Maybe we see that in March. I thought that might have been a better choice, thinking about the pay-per-view on Sunday, but it was still an awesome interview. The Big Show cried. He's a great guy. He's done so much for the industry, so you can't not respect him.
He's such a likable guy too. They have another documentary out about him that I've watched before. I mean, he's had a hard life, and I mean that's why it's and I do want to go back and watch it. But Big Show's one of those guys where I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, he has had the ups and downs of life and really has come through it as a champion. So that's why I do want to go back and see it. But I just did feel bad that they made him work the last segment of the show. Then he has to run back and do it for an hour. Like poor guy.
So something I passed up that I can't believe I passed up is the cutting edge peep show we're gonna get. I totally just ran right through that. So I think we need to talk about that because I think we're all in agreement where we're going. But Matt, I'll let you go ahead and chime in to expect what we're gonna see tonight from the New Day. Go ahead.
My name is Enzo Amore, and I did that for Derek. We've been talking about this for a long time. If Enzo and Cass don't come out tonight in this segment, I mean, when are they going to come out? It's perfect. Edge and Christian say, hey, you guys are running your mouths. You've been cocky for a long time. We're tired of your shenanigans, so we found some opponents for you. Cue the music. They come out to set up a feud for WrestleMania. And also, I've never been shy about this. Edge is like probably my second favorite wrestler of all time. And him and Christian are so good together. I'm really looking forward to watching their show tonight. And I think that Edge and Christian plus the New Day in the ring on the mic will be phenomenal, hilarious, just like it was when they had that small segment. And Biggie took the kazoo out of Christian's mouth and slammed it on the ground and was like, ha, 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 ha. I can't wait. It's going to be hilarious. And I hope we see Enzo and Cass. You guys will be able to hear my screams all the way in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Florida when they come out tonight.
I'm sure Derek Stout will also be joining you in hearing him from across the nation. I believe if you follow us on Wrestling Rumors for Twitter tonight, Derek is live tweeting.
Yep.
I believe you're going to have 15 tweets in a row that is just going to be nonsense if that happens because he'll be marking out on the keyboard. Adam, do you pretty much think that'll happen too?
No.
No. Oh.
No.
So what do you think?
Enzo and Big Cass debut the Raw after WrestleMania. They're not. Listen, WrestleMania. You're trying to sell out WrestleMania. The Dudley Boys just made a big heel turn, right? Who would know the Dudley Boys better right now than anybody in WWE? Edge and Christian. What better way to warn the New Day? And let's face it, guys, the New Day. And I know we're saying it's a heel going up against a heel, but the New Day, for all intents and purposes, are getting crowd pops like a face should and would. So why are we not setting up New Day versus the Dudley Boys at WrestleMania? The Dudley Boys, I think, should that to me sells more in 110,000 person venue than right now than Enzo and Big. Now I love Enzo and Big Cass. Please don't nobody come. I love Enzo and Big Cass, and I think I dream of the New Day, New Day versus Enzo and Big Cass as far as a feud goes. I just debuting them a month out of right before WrestleMania to me, especially when you just turned the Dudley Boys heels, and it looks like they're going to be really monstrous heels too, to the point where they're not even getting the tables out, because they don't want to play into the fans' chants or anything like that. So I think this is going to be more Edge and Christian warning the New Day about, hey, you guys think that you're untouchable, but we've seen those Dudley Boys before. You guys haven't seen those Dudley Boys, and I think we get, the New Day gets bum rushed by the Dudley Boys.
Okay, I mean, I could definitely see that too, Adam. I agree. I don't have a wish either way. So I can see either one of those things going down. I mean, they definitely need something else in the tag team division, I feel, in one way or the other. So Enzo and Big Cass will come up in if not tonight, definitely within the next, couple handful of weeks, if not the night after WrestleMania, like Adam said. I just feel like they need some freshness in the tag team division now, and the Dudleys turning heel is a good start. And by freshness, I don't mean Goldust and R-Truth. So let's definitely not that. So, outside of that, and
And you
You know,
can't teach that.
you can't teach that. There you go.
I think that scenario about the Dudleys is very likely. I think we could also see a Dudleys, Enzo and Cass, New Day, TLC triple threat, maybe with the Usos involved as well. I just think the division's been very stale for a long time, and I don't want to be a hypocrite with the whole criticizing WWE again. I think the Dudley's heel turn, like you said, was a very good step in that right direction. I think that they're really cool as heels. I think it would be a great match at Mania, but I don't think we will see a one-on-one match between the Dudleys and the New Day at WrestleMania. If that happens, like we saw that, I know the Dudleys were faces, but it was the same match at Night of Champions and at the New York City live event. I think also at Hell in a Cell. So it's 3 straight matches from September to October, and then we get that same match at WrestleMania. I mean, unless they're winning, I don't know why they would do that. And look, me, the fan inside of me, wants to see Enzo and Cass. It would be a great rivalry, but obviously I understand that more of the money is in that triple threat match. I know that the company loves the Usos, but they've had the title so many times, they don't really get much of a reaction, in my opinion. It's kind of the same thing over and over again. And no, Goldust and R-Truth should not be involved or within 50 feet of that match taking place at WrestleMania.
No, I agree. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe R-Truth will just bring out more tables or something, and he'll just make himself useful.
He'll just come out and act like he's in the match, and then be like, "Oh, that's my bad. That's my bad. See you guys later." We'll all laugh, and the match will continue.
Yes, probably. But I think that's pretty much it. Unless either one of you have anything you'd like to close with. I think the card is, like I talked about before, is pretty predictable for the most part. One way or the other, things might go one way or the other in a few matches, but for the most part, this is just hopefully a good step. And then hopefully tomorrow night we start to get some idea as to where we're going for WrestleMania. WrestleMania, still, 6 weeks out, right? Because it's like, April 7th?
April 6th.
April 6th, so we're still 6 weeks out, so they still have time. So we'll just have to see where they go. Guys, you got anything else to add for this evening before we sign off? No? Okay, so all right, so a lot of very.
It went dead for a second. I like that.
That's okay.
No,
Yeah.
okay, how about this? Make sure you catch up on The Walking Dead. Make sure you go see Deadpool and support all the Harley Quinn gear you can. There we go.
Yes.
Yes, definitely see Deadpool if you haven't already, number one. But number two, make sure you don't bring any 5 or 6 year old kids that are going to laugh at jokes that, definitely are extremely inappropriate. But if you haven't seen Deadpool yet, definitely go see Deadpool. It's a great one.
Maximum effort.
I saw it on Friday, and I was at Movie Tavern, like right by where I lived, and I got the seats in like the second row thinking it would be okay, and I was looking it up like this whole time. It was still a good movie. I definitely want to see it again. I think some of the jokes kind of went over my head. But for me tonight, appreciate having me on the show again. As always, I'm the host of Wrestling Rumors Podcast, which is recorded and posted every single Wednesday. Derek and I are looking at getting the show on iTunes. We're going to do that tomorrow night. And then I will be at WrestleMania along with Adam and his family of 40 people for WrestleMania. I'm going with my 2 friends, Agaf and JJ. We'll be tweeting where we are at all times. We're also looking into doing like a brunch on WrestleMania Sunday. Maybe a show before Raw. We're still trying to iron out the details, but we just started talking about it, so we'll let you guys know. But thank you very much, and enjoy Fastlane. I think it's going to be a pretty good show tonight.
Yeah, I think I agree. From top to bottom, I think the pay-per-view, while predictable, still has the potential to be a good pay-per-view. From the matches quality that we're going to see. Derek, like I said, Derek Stout will be live tweeting tonight from the Wrestling Rumors account. I will be live tweeting from my personal account, which is NYJetsRule71587. Okay, right there on the screen. Again, if you follow me at Drew Goldfinger, that's my TG account. So please do not do that, because I don't think you want those updates. But I'm probably not going to be around for a couple weeks, guys. Derek and Matt and Adam and the guys will treat you guys well, but this is probably my last warm-up for probably till about WrestleMania season. So if you guys ever need anything or have any questions about wrestling, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. But have a great night, enjoy the pay-per-view, and we'll see you guys later.